The title of the speech is called Still Hysterical After 100 Years. And just reading it just sort of makes tears come to my eyes. That's why I'm the president, because this means so much to me. Our women's suffrage leaders 100 years ago dealt with the ravages of World War I and a 1918 worldwide pandemic. Those leaders rose up and overcame the tremendous challenges and fought with all their might for their right to vote. And we continue that fight today. The 2020 elections are the most important elections in years. The League of Women Voters members today have to rise up now against continuous attacks against voting rights while overcoming challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic as the suffrage leaders before us. You are the League, and you are amazing. The League mission is empowering voters in defending democracy. And as a member and supporter of the League, you fight for the right of all Texas voters to protect their health and be allowed to vote safely and securely in our democracy. You fight for all Texas voters to have a safe and secure online voter registration process. Now is the time to update our old-fashioned, archaic, unnecessarily cumbersome voter registration process. It is especially evident now with COVID-19 that this old process does not work for many, many voters. Young voters, new voters, poor voters, voters of color. They're all stuck at home with no access to voter registration because our leaders continue to support an archaic in-person voter registration process. Texans right now do not have access to schools, libraries, or government offices. They're all closed. They don't have access to printers and stamps. That is their only option right now. What the heck, Texas? You fight for all Texas voters who wish to vote in person to have access to safe, hygienic, accessible, and secure polling places. You can help support democracy in your community. Counties need to increase right now the number of trained poll workers and election judges to cover absences and prevent closure of polling places. Counties need help with counting the expected increase in the vote by mail applications. Counties need help with cleaning products and procedures to ensure safe polling locations. The state of Texas needs to provide the money and the leadership. What the heck, Texas? You fight for all Texas voters to have safe and secure vote by mail process, which allows all voters to protect their health and cast their ballots safely in their own home. Last week, I was listening to the online court proceedings in our legal battle to open vote by mail to all voters. The lawyer for the state called the request to allow the definition of sick and disabled to include all voters during this pandemic a hysterical reaction to COVID-19. What the heck, Texas? I bet suffrage leaders 100 years ago were called hysterical. Our fight for voting rights is not partisan, and it sure isn't hysterical. The word hysteria originates from the Greek word for uterus. And according to Wikipedia, the Greeks believed that, that the uterus moves around through a woman's body, eventually strangling her and inducing disease. This suggests an entirely physical cause for symptoms, but by linking them to the uterus, suggests that the disorder can only be found in women. Well, I will admit, as a nurse, I know that many League members do have a uterus, But we are not hysterical. We are a thoughtful, fact-based, well-reasoned, position-driven, 100-year young organization that fights for and creates solutions that help all voters vote safely and securely. We are empowering voters and defending democracy for all Texas voters.